All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. We already got a funny comment coming in. It's $5 promo time. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully they kind of make up for what happened on Tuesday. We'll see. With them limiting the props, but we'll see. So the promo isn't available just yet for Flex Friday. Hopefully it's going to be $25 like it had been in the past. But obviously we're going to touch on all the top prop bets today. Kind of a decent day, actually, and probably one that I'm most excited for in quite some time. Just with some of the edges that we get now, we know that can change pretty fast, and so hopefully that doesn't occur. Let's go ahead and just take a peek at the board that we have today in general. And it should be a decent board. I think I'll start with PrizePicks today, and then we'll jump into Underdog. So we'll start with that. If you guys have any questions, get those in. I'm just updating the text on that slide. And so let's jump into it. So Flex Friday. Obviously, the goal with Flex Friday is to give out a good flex slip. And it kind of just depends on the amount of money that people are going to have. If it's $25, I don't mind the idea of running out a 3-slip, 4-slip, 5-slip bet. Obviously, if it's only $5, you might as well just do a 5 or 6-slip bet. So it does kind of depend on that. That's a little bit the issue that we have. But in terms of Flex Friday, looking at the cheat sheet that we have going, like we are getting a decent amount of good prop bets. So that is what is encouraging to me right off the bat. Now we do probably have to figure out what to do with Otone here as well. He's been on a good hitting streak. And the sports books keep giving us lines that tell us to bet the unders for PrizePicks and Underdog because, well, that rate that he's hitting at is not something that's sustainable. We'll see. I'm probably just not betting on that. So it's definitely interesting. I want to start out real quickly with a little bit of golf because I think that's kind of the most interesting starting point. So yesterday, during the day, we had some prop line differences pop up between PrizePicks and Underdog. And so I'm calling that out because right now golfers are in and this is actually a prop bet I'll get into on Underdog. The rounds going on right now, there's like an early tee time and an afternoon tee time for people who are not familiar with that. And so the reason I bring that up is because we saw yesterday, we were getting some decent edges once it seemed like the early wave was going to be down. So like PrizePicks adjusted for how the course was playing, whereas Underdog did not. And that did lead to some decent edges. Now, unfortunately for me yesterday, 2 out of the 3 golfers did not show up that are now showing up today, which is annoying. That does happen. That's kind of the issue with golf. Sometimes a couple of bad shots can run around. That did happen, but just be aware that could happen again. It's not happening right now, though. And so for PrizePicks, we are seeing Jason Duffner with a huge edge rating for his birdie or better percentage. Now or over birdies or better. Now he did get this yesterday. I don't know if I exactly trust that one. And so the one that was pulling up was Alex Noren for over fairways hit. This is one that was popping up yesterday as a good prop bet as well. I like this one. And we also have Joel Damon for over his fairways hit. This is one that we can use on both sides, PrizePicks and Underdog. And so let's go ahead and take a peek at both of those again. So just using the PGA Tour app website. And so when we look at the stats from yesterday, Alex Noren did get his over like he was projected to get 11 for 14 fairways hit. That is a little bit over his norm, but that is a bet that I'd be happy to use today. Maybe more so on Underdog because the board actually it's kind of reversed from what we have seen. It's a little bit tighter today on PrizePicks it's a little bit tighter today on Underdog than it is on PrizePicks, which it's a good refreshing change of pace. And then Joel Damon, let's check that one out as well. Not sure what he hit yesterday. I haven't looked at this one yet. So 9 fairways hit. So what's the line at 9.5? So we need to get a little bit more of one there. But typically speaking, this is a course where they do average about 9.4 fairways hit. Golfers do. Yesterday, it was a little bit lower than that, about 9.2. But those are 2 of the better fairways hit golfers in the field. So like not terrible prop bets. I'm okay with those. At the same time, I don't know if we need to push those. But those would be the 2. I do like Noren the most, so over 9.5 fairways hit. That's a solid prop bet golf-wise. And that's going to be the same on Underdog as well. I'm actually curious. If you guys can let me know in the comment section below, what do you like better? Do you like when I do it sport by sport or platform by platform? So like right now, I'm going with golf first. I probably could even change the text to meet that as well. Or do you like it when I go like underdog props first and then PrizePicks props? Just let me know. I'm actually curious about that. And so PGA wise, underdog wise, again, more of the same stuff. What I'm looking at mostly is I do want to be using those that Alex Noren prop. That's probably it. In terms of under fantasy score, I could see betting Bo Hosler under his fantasy score, but we're not really getting an edge there. Aaron Rye for under bogeys or worse, or sorry, for over 1.5 bogeys or worse. I don't want to bet that again. He was projected to be the top play this week in my data, and he ended his round one in third place. Well, he ended his round in first place, but the afternoon golfers had not went off yet, and so he ended up finishing third. And you can see just how much this event's scoring. He's in T15, so he tees off in the afternoon tee times. But looking at it, guys, from yesterday, he was a par and birdie machine. 6 birdies, 12 pars. And that is kind of what I expected from him to have a good day like that. So I'm probably staying away from that one. And so again, Alex Noren, over 9.5 fairway said that's probably my favorite prop bet. Let's jump into some comments and questions, and then I'll go ahead and jump on into the MLB. I am not muted, am I? Is that just a mistake? Because I'm seeing the microphone. I can see the volume. I'm not muted, right? I know it's a long time ago, but yeah, there's so many right now, right? I mentioned this a bunch lately. It's that I think it's because of the summer, because NBA and NFL are not as popular, that we are getting a bunch of free bets that they're trying to keep us betting, and it's going to work. I mean, you always take advantage of the free or discount squares that we are getting. I'll get into that as well here in a second. Okay, thank you. Thank goodness. Okay, thank you guys, and thank you, Jared. Appreciate that. Platform by platform. Okay, I'll do that next stream going forward and next video going forward. If everyone else agrees, let me know. So, like site by site, I guess is the best way to describe it. Should I do underdog and PrizePicks as separate segments, or should I do sport by sport? I will be doing sport by sport for this video, though. I mean, the issue with PrizePicks right now is that they were giving us so much free money at $25 a pop, and now they're not. So that's a little bit annoying. It's like if they hadn't done that, like we'd be happy with the $5, right? It's a little bit annoying there. I haven't done WNBA yet, so I'm going to do MLB right now. So we'll jump on into that, and then I'll get into the WNBA there for you. So we're going to start out with underdog here with the MLB. And so MLB wise for underdog, again, not as good of a slate. I don't know if I really want to run out a Tone for under his fantasy score for underdog 9.5. When you adjust it for PrizePicks scoring, it would be at like 9, which is a little bit different than what PrizePicks has theirs at, which is like 10.5. So yeah, I don't know if I really want to mess with that. I think him and Aaron Judge are just two players that I don't want to bet on right now. And I'm just going to stay away from them. And so looking at what good prop bets we are getting, really the one I like the best is Zach Eflin for under his pitching fantasy score. And it's a tight edge there, but we can see 9.5 for him, or 29.5 for him on underdog, 29.93 for him if you adjust it for PrizePicks scoring. And then the average sportsbook line would have it set at 28.7. And so a pretty good edge across the board here was Zach Eflin. He's projected to get 5.4 innings. So typically average almost a quality start. So a little bit of a concern there, but for the most part, a solid one that we were getting today. And so that is one where underdog wise, I'm happy to use. And so far for me, underdog wise, Alex Noren for over fairways hit, and then Eflin for under his fantasy score. Those are my two favorite bets. But kind of the issue is that those are the only good ones. We could run out the Toronto pitcher for under his pitching fantasy score. Not exactly what I need to go with. Ellie De La Cruz, over fantasy scores, a decent one today. But also, a lot of his fantasy score comes down to him getting like steals and whatnot. Like he is someone that if he gets on base, there's a higher likelihood than other players, obviously, with him to get a steal, and that really dictates a lot of his fantasy score. And so with him, I don't know. It's weird because I would rather just bet him over like hits, runs, RBIs or something like that. But I don't mind it. I mean, that is a good bet on paper. So like projected to go 4 at bats rather than 3.7. So like not terrible there. Kind of the issue that I have today is we're not getting that many like correlated bets that we can run out in terms of the top end bets. A little bit unfortunate there. And what I mean by that is when we look at like teammates, like hitting fantasy score, we could like typically pair together. We don't really have that option today. I mean, right here, sure. No, I guess that's no, not there. Yeah, we just really don't have any good stacking opportunities. Maybe Seager and Marcus Semien. Maybe those two. I could see doing that. Logan Webb for under his pitching fantasy score is okay, but not something that we need to go with. So again, today it's a tighter board on Underdog, which is a little bit different, but that's fine. 2 bets that I'm fine with running out. Honestly, yeah, this is kind of the biggest problem I have as well. It's why did they choose to do it this way? That's a good point. Or just make it more random than dropping everyone to 5, or honestly, even let us know, like if they knew that they were going to drop it from 25 to 5 on the last day in which they were doing $25 Flex Fridays, tell everyone, right? Because that would have got a lot more people into doing the Flex Friday bet that specific day. So it is kind of weird. And maybe I would be fine with it if it was like once a month they do $25. My biggest issue right now with PrizePicks and Underdog is DraftKings has a little bit of a reward bonus for people that play on DraftKings, whether that be sportsbook betting, but mostly like DFS, like you get rewarded for playing like daily contests and whatnot. PrizePicks and Underdog need to come up with a system like that as well, where they reward people for kind of betting every day. Because kind of the issue right now, honestly, with these sites in general is that you can bounce from site to site each day. Like Sleeper has their wild card Wednesday and what is it? Sunday Sleeper or whatever the heck it is. And then Underdog just coming out with all these random promos. You got other sites like Better, Parlay Play trying to get in the mix as well. But like PrizePicks with all their discounts, that's kind of the issue that they're facing right now. So it's interesting. I'm not going to complain though. We are getting a lot of discounted prop bets and free squares. So it's I'm kind of okay with it. It seems like that's what they're trying to do right now. More promos with less dollar amounts. And from like an advertising standpoint, it does make sense, like in that regard, because you can just advertise a little bit more. Yeah, I do. So, I want to get more of the sports stuff in there first. So I already mentioned, like, here, I'll show you. And this one, this is DraftKings. Let me zoom out a little bit here. So I already added the DraftKings in there. Sportsbook for MLB. That is something that I want to add in there for more sportsbooks as well. And so I'm always adding stuff. Right now, I think the best option is to add in BetMGM, other sites like that first, and then Parlay Play, then, some of those other daily fantasy sports prop sites a little bit more. If that makes sense. But yes, let's get back into PrizePicks here, MLB wise. And I mentioned we are getting some decent edges here. Again, not going to mess with the Tony, but we got Stephen Kwan for over his hitting fantasy score. Kind of want to pull that one up and see how he's been doing. I know he's someone that consistently pops up here for whatever reason. He continues to pop up, and it's not always for overhitting fantasy score. Sometimes it's for under, but he is someone that, I don't know. There seems to just be a difference between how the DFS prop sites and how the sportsbooks value him, which is a little bit strange. But yes, we are getting him at 7.5 on PrizePicks today. We can see based off the projection data, based off the average sportsbook line, that is a pretty good one as well. Probably needing to get 4 hits. Would love that to happen. But a decent edge bet there. Again, I would like to pair him and stack him, and we do have that ability today. And so that's part of the reason why I think it's a little bit better today on PrizePicks, and especially when we look at kind of the discrepancy line between Underdog and PrizePicks, the projection data, and the average sportsbook line for this one as well. For Jose Ramirez, I like that. And so what we're really betting on here is for these two to probably get 4 hits. But I think that's a tremendous stacking opportunity there with those two. So I'll pull that up so you guys can see his recent log as well. The thing I noticed, though, is that we didn't have a way to go the opposite way. I don't think. Just let me double check that and see. Do we have the under pitching fantasy score? We don't. We still don't. To run out the opposite, to stack it double ways, but that's fine. So yes, we do have a stack there that we can run out. I'm happy to do that. That's a good stacking opportunity for us. Then after that, we still have Corey Seager over his hitting fantasy score. Honestly, if I'm using Corey Seager and Marcus Semien for their over fantasy scores on Underdog, I probably don't want to do that today on PrizePicks. I don't want to double dip the chip because I don't think that's necessary today. Contreras for over his hitting fantasy score continues to be one that pops up as well. What we're going to see here is we're getting a couple of decent pitching props as well. And I like the fact that these two are correlating as well. So what I mean by that, and you guys probably know this by now, it's when the PrizePicks line is the outlier data point compared to all the other lines. And so we see Underdog would have this one set at 30, projection data at 30, and the average sportsbook line would be favoring the over at about 29.2. So Charlie Morton to get over his pitching fantasy score is a solid prop bet today. Looking at it across the board as well, DVP wise, 28.9. So all the data points that we are getting are telling us that we are getting a slight edge on Charlie Morton today. Now, I don't like the fact that's only 53.8% likelihood to hit, but at the same time, I'm kind of okay rolling with that. And so he has been very, very hit or miss, right? So it's either he's getting blown up or really going off. And so we'll probably know pretty fast in that game what we're getting out of him. And then let's look at Eflin as well. So we're going to be betting him for under his fantasy score. And so obviously we look at the game log, we kind of like this one. And again, looking at it, sure, Underdog has it at 29.1. That's why we're betting the under there as well. So it's a slightly better bet on Underdog. But across the board, still a solid bet that we are getting today. And so Adam, I don't know. I didn't do that one. I don't know. So that'd be one someone else would have to answer there with Chris Sale. And then so let's see here. Trey Turner over his hitting fantasy score is not terrible, but not like we don't need to go there. Logan Webb, if you wanted to run over his under fantasy score, you could as well. Like not terrible. Like we are gaining a decent amount of pitching props that are solid enough. And so real quickly, I do want to see DraftKings wise if we're getting any good prop bets here. And I still need to do the explanation video of this because it can be confusing if someone's just coming into it. But basically, there's 2 ways to look at this sheet, and this is DraftKings real quick. I want to change the text, but whatever. So you can look at it in terms of like average edge, which is pulling in the projection data and the other sportsbook odds and seeing if we're getting an edge on something like DraftKings. And so right now, you're typically not going to get a positive edge, unfortunately, when comparing DraftKings against other sportsbooks because DraftKings and these other sites have juice associated with them. So a lot of the times what you have to do is find these bets like this where, and I don't like this, Aaron Judge over home runs. I don't like betting on something like that. But like, that's one of the better ones today. Again, I don't really want to run that out. We could sort of buy edge in general. And this, again, is kind of just comparing what other sites are looking at compared to DraftKings. And again, we're just not getting that many good ones. These two are probably the best that we could run out. And maybe go with these ones as well, but still not that good. Like this one's probably the best one to me on paper. But that's just kind of why I think this is a good example of why it's better to bet on PrizePicks and Underdog a lot of the times, especially because we know what the payout's going to be for the most part every time. Like we can bet against that and beat that. But if you guys are looking for a DraftKings bet, this would probably be my favorite one. Yeah, this would be. All right, that's great. That's great. Honestly, the Flex Friday stuff is not surprising, but I wonder if that's just going to be the norm going forward until NFL season, and then NFL season they'll kind of start promoting a lot more. And so yes, my Flex Friday is also $5 as well. Just checked. So a little bit annoying there, but kind of is what it is. So yes, for PrizePicks, the bet will be a 5-slip bet today. And we can go over that in a second. We'll get into WNBA right now. And we'll start with PrizePicks. And so yesterday I actually had a pretty darn good day WNBA wise on Underdog. It was 6 for 7. I ran out a 7-slip bet. Who was it? Kelsey Plum. Yeah, Kelsey Plum really crushed her over fantasy score. Everyone else that was like, all of them were projected to get under fantasy score. Kelsey Plum was the only one to get over. A little bit annoying. Close, but not close enough. But today, at least on PrizePicks, not much there. I mean, Thomas, we're seeing assist for under 7.5. Projection daylight's at 6.4. So that's probably the best one to roll with. I mean, that is the best one to roll with. Then, looking at the opposite way, then Harris for over points, 9.5, projected at 11.6. Average sportsbook line would have it as a 50-50, but at 9.7. So there's a couple of lines that are probably having it at 10.5, heavily favoring the under, whereas most of them are having it at 9.5. So those are two decent ones. Again, probably don't need to force those in there, but not bad. Here's an interesting one, and very interesting one. Average sportsbook line for Jackson is at 10, and so Underdog has their line at 9.5. PrizePicks has it at 10.5. That's a slight edge there. Decent prop line difference. You can roll with that if you want to. Let's see. Are we getting any good WNBA prop bets? And I actually want to refresh that real quick as well, just to see if we are. Not really. Not really. Not yet. Will I be giving out fantasy football tips this year? I will be. Yeah. So that'll be on this YouTube page as well. So I did create the 9 to 5 golf YouTube channel just because that is such a different audience per week and per day, pretty much, where it was just hurting this main channel too much. And that channel has been doing pretty well, relatively speaking. And so I don't need to do that with football. I could, if I really, really want to just get into fantasy football only, do waiver wire videos. I could do that. I just don't think right now that's the correct decision to make. Having 3 separate YouTube channels would be weird, but no, I'll be doing that on this video. It'll be more like last year where I'll do props videos, I'll do DFS videos on this channel, but you will also get that fantasy football advice mixed in there. It's all the same stuff, just being applied differently. Talking about preseason NFL DFS, we weren't getting that many prop bets to do, but I was hyping up getting on Puka and Kyron simply because I was covering preseason NFL DFS. So people that were watching for DFS purposes, a lot of people were able to get on those plays early on in their fantasy football seasons as well. Same thing with no, people don't want to hear, but same thing with Jordan Love. I was just hammering home Jordan Love as a great value pick in best balls, in season long props betting. He let us down once props betting wise for over his fantasy score, and that was the last game of the year when he had the over fantasy score and he threw that late interception because Aaron Jones could not stay on his feet. I don't need to get into that, but yeah. Say waiver wire 5 times fast. I can't say it right now. Just mouth's a little dry, probably a little bit too much coffee this morning. I can't say it. All right, so let's see discrepancies wise. There was some early on. I know these have been bumped a little bit. And I'll pull that up in a second. Let's see. We were getting some COD edges. Yeah, let's pull this up. So not nothing too huge here. Let's just show it by COD and CSGO. Because today is Friday, we should be getting, or is it Fridays or Saturdays? The COD, the esports discounts. I forget. Maybe it's Saturday, maybe Sundays. I don't remember. I haven't really been paying attention to those. So protected plays for esports. I don't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, we are getting some decent prop line differences today for esports, which is kind of crazy. So CSGO, we got headshots. This is a 1.5 difference. Map 3 kills, 2.5 difference. So we are gaining a decent amount of prop line differences today where you could potentially be running out some middles on both sites, whether it be COD, whether it be CSGO, decent edges here. So I did want to call those out because those are decent enough. It's Saturdays. Okay. Are these on Saturday? Let's see. These are all for Friday night. That's honestly kind of a small gripe that I have about the esports promos is that a lot of times you make a bet on that day, but they don't take place until Sunday, sometimes Monday. So it's always interesting there. But yeah, these all take place today, which is nice. You don't have to wait. So yeah, if you guys want to use any of those, by all means, go for it. It is Wednesdays and Saturdays. Okay. Thank you. All right. So let's go ahead and let me get the bets of the day kind of loaded up. And I just a reminder, guys, that stuff is always kind of changing. The board is always updating throughout the day, just as a FYI there. To get, in terms of what bets are the best bets. I already mentioned the underdog one. I don't know if I need to show that. Alex Noren for over 9.5 fairways hit. And then we're looking at Zach Eflin for under his pitching fantasy score. Those are the two best that I view on underdog today. Now, we might get some more WNBA fantasy score prop bets in there. We could be using that. And I do want to call it as well. You could also attach the Texas stack of Marcus Semien and Corey Seager for over their fantasy score as well on Underdog. If you guys are new, you can use that promo code 905 to sign up. And I think it's worth calling out. I do have this promo code going live on my website right now. It's 50% off for new members. So you can use the promo code SUMMER. And so make the $10 membership $5. And that is only for new members. And this is going to be to the first 200 people that sign up as well. So it's going to be valid until August 1st. So if you guys want to, you guys have never signed up, you can use that promo code. It gives you the first month for 50% off. So I did just want to call that out as well. But yes, let me get the slip loaded up. And so I will say right away with this slip, I want to call out that the last one on the slip that I'm about to show you guys, I'm going to be happy to probably not use once we get some better prop bets that open up throughout the day. So if you guys are someone that might wait on your Flex Friday slip, you could do that. And so I did just want to call that out. And so here we go. So what we're looking at, we got Logan Gilbert for under his pitching fantasy score. That's a decent one today on PrizePicks. Could toss in Eflin here as well. Probably should. Yeah, honestly, right now, let's do that. So do we need a double dip that bet on both sides? Probably not, but let's do that. So let's take Trey Turner off of this and let's do Eflin. Okay, so I don't know if I need to type that. I'm saying that right now. So if you guys are looking for a 6 slip bet right now, that's what I'd want to run out. Eflin in there instead. Then we got Charlie Morton for over his pitching fantasy score. Again, called out. He is very hit or miss, right? Don't exactly love that, but kind of it is what it is. Like, it's nice to know that if he's on, he's going to be going off. If he's not, he could get torn up. And then we do have the stacking opportunity, which to me makes the slate pretty appealing in general today, is that we have this little stacking opportunity for Cleveland today, which again, I think is pretty nice. Platform to platform. Okay, I'll do that going forward. That's good to know. Thank you guys for letting me know. And so the question that this comment's referring to, and so if you guys are watching this after the live stream, let me know. The question was, do you guys prefer me doing sport by sport or platform by platform or site by site? So it seems the consensus would be to do it PrizePicks first, then Underdog, then maybe DraftKings. And so I'm happy to do that. Like, whatever is easier for you guys. And so I can kind of do 2 segments then as well, like I kind of do. PrizePicks by the day, Underdog by the day. So that is good to know. Thank you for letting me know. But that's really kind of it as it sits right now. I do want to do a quick refresh on my end just to see if we're getting any other prop bets WNBA wise for Underdog. So give me a quick second there, and then I'll be getting out of here. If you guys have any questions, get those in. Let's see. But yeah, I do think it's kind of worth calling out with that NFL content. I'm really excited to get into NFL. I was toying around with the idea of doing some sort of fantasy football draft write up for every player. I don't think that's plausible though. That's something I've always wanted to do and just haven't ever had the time to, because that stuff's always changing. But maybe I'll do a video. Like, I think that'd be a fun video. I already did a best balls draft video, so once maybe more, middle of July, I can do a video like that for season long. I think that'd be fun. But yes, preseason NFL DFS will be here shortly, and that's one of the biggest edges that we get each and every year. So I do think that's worth calling out as well. So I am working on doing a quick refresh of that data, like I said, just to see if we're getting any of those WNBA prop bets just yet for Underdog. And it's nice we can compare it against the PrizePicks lines as well. And it's so weird because lately the edges for WNBA had been on PrizePicks, whereas yesterday was Underdog. It's kind of strange how that happens, but those slight variations in terms of how a site's valuing a prop does make a difference. Some decent edges. Give me a second here. I know not the best content right here for a live stream, but I'll show you guys here in a second. So interesting here what we're seeing. Lots of big edges actually for WNBA for for Underdog today, and a little bit of PrizePicks now. Give me a second. And so I'm just going to list it off. So we got a lot of under bets that you could run out. I'm not saying that you have to, but Tina Charles under fantasy score, Hamby under fantasy score, McDonald under fantasy score, Griner under fantasy score, and then Gray under fantasy score as well. And Natasha Cloud potentially under fantasy score as well. So there is a decent stacking opportunity to do a lot of under bets on Underdog again for WNBA. Now, do you have to do that? No. I do like the idea of stacking those two together, because really what we're betting on is that Underdog is wrong with their projections. We're betting on the sportsbooks to be more correct. Again, I did that yesterday. That's what worked out. But I do still think the Noren and Zach Eflin prop are slightly better to roll with today. So I'd rather run out those two for Underdog, if that makes sense. And I think it does. So this is actually an interesting thought process here. So I really don't get how they go about limiting customers, because I know just based off the people I've spoken to, they've it doesn't seem to be after like someone's extremely profitable. Like, they will limit your whole account for sure, but it won't be the promos. Like, people like have said like, oh, I'm not like extremely profitable during the section, but I did just hit a big bet. And it might be based off of the volume that people are betting on, the dollar amount that people are betting on, maybe per day, or just like the bet size. I don't really know. I'm actually very curious as to that. So it'd be interesting. Yeah, so I can go over those Call of Duty picks again. So yeah, it was Eflin for under, and that's kind of what the question was here. So Eflin under fantasy score on both sites is solid. But yeah, real quickly, I'll jump into some of those esports props as well. Happy to do that. Gotta get that slide ready again, just real quick. So yeah, we just have some, and I'll just go by COD here. So we are getting some decent prop line differences between PrizePicks and Underdog. So I don't mind the idea of kind of running out the slips both ways with this, if that makes sense. So what you can do is run out under PrizePicks on the first 4, and then over here. You could probably stop there, do a 5 slip bet on both sides, and then just do the exact opposite on Underdog. Like that's a decent idea. What about Power Slap? I haven't gotten into Power Slap just yet. Like I could do what I do with NBA or MMA to include that in the prop line difference. Does Underdog even have that though? I didn't realize that they did. They do. All right. I'm actually going to put that on my list of things to add here while we're live. Not a bad idea. If there's prop line differences that we can take advantage of, but by all means, let's do that. So yeah, that can be something I add here as well. All right, so I'm just checking again real quick. So yeah, Zach Eflin on both sides under fantasy score is solid. All right, that's going to do it, guys. Yeah, so we're good to go. Again, decent day today, especially on PrizePicks. A little bit surprised by that. But that's going to be all for today's video. Appreciate everyone being here. Again, probably going to do site by site next time, next slate, because that's what, or next video, because that's what people wanted. Happy to do that. But that's going to be all. Probably will have a video out tomorrow, early morning. Got a early tea time tomorrow. I'm playing golf for the first time in a while, so that'll be kind of fun. But appreciate you guys being here. If you guys want access to all the tools that you saw in this video, you guys know what to do. You can head on over to 9to5sports.com. Do kind of just real quick remind you of the promo code that is going on the website. Use the promo code SUMMER if you guys are someone that is signing up for the first time. That'll give you access to the website for the first month for $5 a month instead of $10 a month. That's going to be active until August 1st, only for the first 200 people that sign up. All right, that's going to be all. Appreciate everyone being here. Good luck today. And as always, let's keep cashing.